Dana Barros. At guard at 6'4" from Indiana, number 20, Greg Graham. At forward at 6'9" from Temple, number 23, Tim Perry. At forward at 6'7" from Southern Mississippi, number 35, Clarence Weatherspoon. And at center at 6'11" from Wyoming, number 45, Eric Lechner. The trainer is Mike Abdenor, assistant trainer Alan Lumpkin, assistant coaches Tony DeLeo and Jeff Rulin, the head coach Brett Carter. And now, please welcome the Atlantic Division champions, your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'4" from Illinois, number 11, Derek Harper. At guard at 6'5" from North Carolina, number 44, Cooper Davis. At forward at 6'8" from St. Louis, number 4, Anthony Bonner. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 17 from Georgetown, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders, the assistant trainer Tim Walsh, assistant coaches Dick Harder and Chip Van Gundy, and the head coach of the Knicks, Pat Riley. Anthony Mason will not play in tonight's game. Tonight's officials are Jackie Madden, Ron Garrett.
Well, the very cryptic announcement, Anthony Mason will not play in tonight's game. John, I would think they should have mentioned the reason because of the suspension. However, it was not mentioned. Mason, as you know, suspended indefinitely by the Knicks for conduct detrimental to the team. The suspension effective immediately. And we talked about it with Pat Riley.
I think Anthony Mason has been a great contributor to this team. I hope he will continue to be a great contributor to this team. But we have to move on, and we have to get ready for the playoffs. Our best basketball, I hope, is ahead of us. And I want to establish a frame of mind that's positive and cooperative, that we don't have to carry any baggage anywhere. And I think maybe this might clear the air.
Well, the air was not cleared here at the Garden as to the reason he is not playing tonight. But Anthony Mason will sit it out because of the suspension. That was last touched by Lechner. One change in the 76er starting lineup. Greg Graham, a rookie from Indiana, replacing Jeff Malone, who is under the weather. Here's Patrick Ewing, rejected by Tim Perry. Patrick Ewing sat out the game against the Sixers in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago because of the flu. A game won by Philly. Perry tries the three-pointer. And Graham now working against Davis.
In that game against the Knicks, in the last meeting that you mentioned, Marv, the Sixers shot 51% to the Knicks 43%. So a problem that has been continuing for the Knicks in their losing ways has been the field goal percentage they have been working at and that of their opponents.
We're just underway. Charles Oakley. And rebounded by Eric Lechner. Lechner, the starting center, with Sean Bradley sideline with that dislocated left kneecap. When Bradley was in the lineup, Sixers were a respectable 20-29. Without him, they have won only 4 of their last 30. Here's Barros. And he was fouled, hit on a reach-in. The officials are Jack Madden, Ron Garretson, and Joe DeRue.
Surprisingly, Marv, a lot of the criticism leveled at the Sixers is not related to their lack of talent. It has been more to their lack of effort on the court. They were humiliated by the Atlanta Hawks Saturday night as Greg Graham enjoys that jump shot opportunity, made the most of it. They have not been putting forth the best effort physically, and that has drawn a lot of criticism from Fred Carter from game to game.
Here is Oakley. Knicks and the Sixers tied at 2. Charles shot the ball well in the loss to the Hawks the other night. 6 for 9, 21 points. Hitting from the outside. Lechner. Now Ewing with a drop step move to give the Knicks a 4-2 lead.
Eric Lechner, Ewing's opponent tonight at 6'11", big strong guy, but certainly ranked way down there as far as formidable opponents that Ewing will face in the course of an NBA season.
Weatherspoon. Ewing got a piece of it. Weatherspoon on the follow. Clarence Weatherspoon had a good one against the Knicks 2 weeks ago. 26 points, 10 rebounds.
Well, his quickness beat Bonner and Ewing to that rebound. They were both in the vicinity, but the agility and quickness of Weatherspoon has made him an outstanding player now in his second year.
Anthony Bonner giving the Knicks a 6-4 lead. Oh, Perry with the stop and the foul. Tim Perry serving up a facial. Bonner called for the foul.
Transition defense is the name of the problem for the Knicks. Now, Bonner's a quick man. Ewing can run, but Perry was quicker, as were the Sixers, in getting him the ball.
Knicks and the 76ers tied at 6. And Ewing's pass off the mark. Ewing thought that Oakley would be cutting along the baseline. Charles wanted the jump shot. Here's Barros. So the 76ers take an 8-6 lead. Dana Barros in his 5th year out of Boston College.
Ewing is working very hard to get that ball.
That's a 3 for Derek Harper. And the Knicks lead 9-8. Knicks have lost 2 of their last 3 here at the Garden. Overall 31-9 at home. They had won 10 of 11 before losing to Atlanta on Tuesday night. Illegal defense call for the first time. Sixers get a new 24.
The only break in the schedule that the Sixers.
The Yanks take on Ricky and the A's from the stadium Sunday afternoon on MSG.
On the rebound. Ewing. Nice fake. And the Knicks now lead 11-8.
It's always a pleasure for Pat Riley to see Patrick Ewing take that ball right to the basket as he just did.
Graham picked up on a switch, and Perry was loose.
Because Bonner, who was physically there, had his back to the passer. So he didn't know what was coming.
Knicks by 1. Davis, that will count. It's a goaltend. Gilbert Davis trying to turn it from the 1 for 9 the other night against the Hawks.
Well, Hubert getting the opportunity to go to that basket, and he did. Weatherspoon got in the way, but it was too late. Nice drive by Davis. That's a good way to shake a shooting slump. Go to the basket, make the shots in close.
John Early score for Miami. The Heat 12, the Hawks 4.
The Hawks are crumbling.
Weatherspoon gets inside, and he draws the foul. And the Knicks take a timeout. It's the Knicks 13 and the Sixers 10.
The Yanks take on Ricky and the A's from the stadium Sunday afternoon on MSG.
My store is my life. I've given it everything. To me, there's nothing else like it.
At Nationwide Insurance, we believe that every business is different. Each one has its own needs. You
have to try to help me with my home and car insurance, so I knew he could develop a plan to protect my business.
The last thing Bob needs to worry about is insurance.
When you're thinking about insurance, think Nationwide. Your Nationwide Co-op member agent in Babylon is William Viscaus.
The Department of Transportation is putting the Express back into the expressway between exits 49 and 57. This diamond symbol designates the new 4th lanes as high occupancy vehicle or HOV lanes, reserved for buses, carpools, and motorcycles between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Watch for this sign at each HOV entry point. Smart commuters will arrange ride sharing, saving 1 minute per mile using the HOV lanes. The HOV lanes are brought to smart commuters by your New York State Department of Transportation, reminding you smart commuters use the smart lane.
$49.95 and under. Bayshore Mazda is the home of the $49.95 and under quality used car. Only Bayshore Mazda has them. $49.95, $39.95, even $29.95. Used, not abused cars. Choose from one of the largest used car inventories on Long Island, including all makes and models protected by the unique Qualicare used car warranty. Only at Bayshore Mazda, home of the $49.95 and under quality used car. Sunrise Highway, Bayshore.
A real winner knows how to party right. Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Knicks have to look out for boxing out tonight. They failed against the Hawks the other night in that department. Weatherspoon on this shot. Nobody looks for Weatherspoon. They forgot about him. That's Patrick Ewing and Anthony Bonner watching it happen.
Crowd reacting to the posting of the score for the Nassau Coliseum with the Rangers in front of the Islanders 2-0 in the first period. So following the consecutive 6-0 victories, it's a 2-0 Ranger lead as they try to make it 3 out of 3. Knicks 13 on the Sixers 12 with 6:50 remaining in this first quarter. Bonner had it knocked away by Weatherspoon.
That pass was bounced in. It wouldn't have been easy for Weatherspoon to knock it away.
Weatherspoon goes to the fadeaway. Clarence Weatherspoon with 6 points, and it's Philadelphia by 1. Clarence Weatherspoon in his second year out of Southern Mississippi. Very talented, somewhat undersized power forward, but it has not mattered. Hopper again. Hopper hit a 3 a moment ago, and now hits from straight away. 2-point range. Knicks lead by 1.
Marv, it's clear to Knick watchers that what the Knicks need is a big win. They can't struggle here with the lowly Sixers and then go to Milwaukee feeling good about themselves.
Ewing off the double team, gets it back out. Bonner kept it alive. Here's Ewing, yes, and it counts. Lechner called for the foul, and Ewing will go to the line.
Well, Patrick, very accurate now. He's boxed out, but gets the good roll, and he responds well and uses the backboard to his advantage on making that shot and perhaps a 3-point play.
Perry with the rebound. Isaac Austin, second-year man from Arizona State, who played very well against the Knicks 2 weeks ago, has come on, replacing Eric Lechner. Austin signed for the rest of the season following a couple of 10-day contracts. Barros went wide. And here comes Bonner. Knicks lead by 3. 5 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Davis. And Austin comes away with it. Perry lost it. Last touch by Bonner. And substitutions. Johnny Dawkins and Warren Kidd check in for the first time. Kidd, a rookie from Middle Tennessee State. Johnny Dawkins, the veteran, his 8th year out of Duke. Hopper called for that foul. including tonight, the Knicks with 3 games left. They play tomorrow night, as you mentioned, at Milwaukee. Sunday afternoon, they conclude at Chicago. Atlanta playing tonight in Miami and trailing early in the game. Isaac Austin is on the line. And then Atlanta has a game home on Saturday against Orlando. Here's Greg Anthony, who played well the other night against Atlanta, replacing Derek Harper. Chicago home for Boston on Friday and home for the Knicks on Sunday. Now, if the Knicks win their final 3 and Atlanta loses its final 2, the Knicks would finish in the top spot. Bonner extending to a 19-15 lead, but there are all kinds of possibilities in this 3-team race. Weatherspoon. Friendly rim for Weatherspoon, who has 8 points.
Weatherspoon is listed at 6'7", but he gets bigger on the shots because he extends those 2 arms out pretty high when he releases that jump shot.
Nice fake. Ewing draws the foul. It counts. Foul committed by Austin. And Ewing will go to the line.
Oh, Ewing getting the ball as low as you can go. That's where he wants it. Austin buys the fake. Austin's playing his 11th game now for the Sixers, and as you mentioned earlier, Marv, he did play very well against the Knicks 2 weeks ago. He is a big body that Patrick Ewing will try to play with those head fakes.
And now Charles Smith, who was the subject of many a story in the New York papers and much discussion on sports talk shows in this area, has come on for the first time. Austin called for traveling violation. So the Knicks now have a front line of Ewing, Smith, and Oakley. Anthony and Davis in the backcourt. Orlando Woolridge has also checked in for the first time. Woolridge had a good one against the Knicks 2 weeks ago. Here's Davis. Rebounded by Kidd.
Amazing to see Davis miss as he has been of late. Such a good shooter. He's got all the form, and he's just in a slump.
Dawkins to the spin. Ewing with the rebound. Anthony. Yes. Greg Anthony shooting very well. The other night against the Atlanta Hawks, Greg with a couple from downtown. He had 2 that rimmed out. He was 5 for 10, 15 points in 20 minutes. Traveling violation called on Graham.
He also had 3 steals to round out that terrific effort that Greg put forth.
Pardon me, where are you going with all that Bud Light?
The Lee family reunion.
Then I'm here for the Lee family reunion.
You're a member of the Lee family?
Yes, I am.
Right this way.
你是李中的老大。Sure, I just sure.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
你真有点像他。
In the preseason, I don't get out much. But come spring, there's nothing more relaxing than a little walk in the park.
All men are created equal. Some just work harder in the preseason.
Hold on. I don't just overnight the package.
Yeah, sure. Overnight it. Might as well overnight it.
Overnight this.
Overnight that. Overnight.
Overnight it. Overnight.
Sometimes overnight is overkill. So kick the habit with Priority Mail from the Postal Service. It's not overnight, but it's fast delivery, special handling, and 2 pounds is only $2.90.
Morning. Thanks.
When overnight is overdoing it, remember, we deliver for you. Call and we'll start today.
Tuesday night in the Knicks loss to Atlanta, Charles Smith heard it from the crowd right throughout. He had a very difficult time, only 2 for 8 from the field, 2 for 6 from the line, and the crowd was all over him. After the game, Pat Riley was asked for his reaction.
You know, he's a great guy. People don't know him. You know, sometimes, you know, there are guys in this league that are jerks as players and maybe deserve that. Guy's a great guy. He doesn't deserve it. And it sure as hell doesn't help him and doesn't help us, you know, when they're out there booing him when he's at the free throw line. So, I mean, that to me is just human nature on the part of people who care about him.
Marv, I have to say that when Charles Smith does something positive, I hear applause. And we have seen it happen in his occasions when he has played well. And he's just carrying a big burden, a big contract. Everybody knows it. A lot's expected of him. And it hasn't happened. And that's what the fans are reacting to. As harsh as it may seem, it's like tough town, last I heard. Tough team, tough town.
Knicks 23 and the 76ers 17. With 2:20 to go in the first quarter. Dawkins lost the dribble, able to recover. And this is Graham, way off. Rebounded by Austin and handled by Smith. Here's Smith with the open jumper. Ewing on the follow. So the Knicks have a 25-17 lead.
Interesting when you think about what Pat Riley has done, and really takes credit for it in many ways with Greg Anthony. Greg was at the bottom of his career a couple of months ago. I mean, he was talking about leaving the game. He was insinuating such a thing. Pat Riley stayed with him to the bitter end. I mean, he stayed with him all the way.
Smith with the block. And here's the reaction from the crowd. And now here's Herb Williams for Patrick Ewing.
Take a look now on this nice pass inside. Charles Smith with perfect timing sends Isaac Austin back.
24-second buzzer. Austin on the follow. Austin again. And a foul called on the Knicks. It's on Oakley.
But Pat stayed with, going back to the point of Greg Anthony, Pat stayed with Greg Anthony, and Greg Anthony was facing perhaps harsher reaction from the fans. And he has come out of it in such a dramatic turnaround. It's unbelievable how effective he has become in the last month and a half, roughly. And Charles Smith also will have that support as it was demonstrated the other night.
Nick Treader, Mike Saunders taking care of the left wrist of Greg Anthony.
And to further elaborate on the point of Charles Smith, this franchise made a huge investment in him as a key player for the future. And there's no way that Pat Riley and the Knicks front office is going to turn on Charles Smith. They believe in him, and they're going to continue to believe in him. Hopefully he'll feel the same way and come through.
Anthony. So Greg Anthony with his second field goal, and the Knicks lead 27-19. Here's Walred. Anthony for Davis. Nice move by Hubert Davis.
Well, what the Knicks need, and the fans are sensing it, as are the Knicks, they need some fast breaks, some good shots inside, easy opportunities.
Austin, it counts, and the foul. Sixers controlling the board. So that ends a 10-2 Knick run. Foul on Charles Smith.
Sixers working tough under the basket. Again, not boxed out. Austin at 6'10", big, strong guy. Finally makes the most of that opportunity.
And apparently a technical foul has been called on Isaac Austin. Had something to say to one of the officials, so Hubert Davis hits the technical foul. And now they move back to the other end for the three-point possibility, and it's Austin going to the line.
Austin had his 9-point explosion against the Knicks 2 weeks ago, which is his high as a Sixer player in his now 12th game with the team.
Knicks lead 30 22. 40 seconds to go. First quarter. Anthony for three. 30 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Great work by the Knicks big man, springing that ball loose for another shot.
And Davis hits it. Well, Hubert Davis working out of it off the 1 for 9 on Tuesday night. Knicks now lead by 10. 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. Sixers will hold for 1. Johnny Dawkins checking over with Coach Fred Carter. Down to 5 seconds. Here's Dawkins. Anthony off the back of the rim. That would have counted. So after 1, it's the Knicks 32 and the 76ers 22.
I'm going to show you the easiest way to buy your new
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok there are no boundaries. By the United States Postal Service Priority Mail. We deliver for you. And by Mobil 1. It keeps your engine running like new.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden at the end of the first quarter. The Knicks lead the Sixers by 10. I'm with Yankees pitching coach Billy Connors, who actually went to high school with Pat Riley, and I guess he used to watch you play, right?
That's right. Pat was a 9th grader when I was captain as a senior, and Barry Kramer was a junior, the great All-American at NYU.
So that was in Schenectady, New York. Now, you also went to college with another guy we know, right?
Marv Albert and I were at Syracuse University together. I was there on a basketball scholarship, and Marv was at a rock and roll station then.
Well, it's a big name-dropping night, and Marv, we won't mention what year it was, by the way. What kind of DJ was Marv?
He was outstanding. He always had the great voice.
All right, guys, take it away.
First, Billy is mistaken. He was at college with my brother. That obviously in error. Anthony Bonner draws the foul as the second quarter gets. It's underway. Warren Kidd is called for the personal. Actually, Billy was at Syracuse several years ahead of me, John. I do want to point out, but was an excellent third baseman. Played some basketball. And then ended up in the major leagues as a pitcher, and of course went on to be a pitching coach for the Cubs and the Mets and several other squads, including the Yankees on a couple of occasions.
The big point, though, Marv, in the conversation is that many fans perhaps don't know that it all began with rock and roll for Marv Albert.
Isn't that interesting that he would remember my very short stint as a rock DJ, which is good experience, something that you should have considered at one point.
Don't push it my way. This is
very good experience. Spinning the hits.
I chose to start at the top, Marv.
Knicks lead 34-22. What I do remember about Billy Connors, when I first started doing sports on the campus station at Syracuse. I know you're fascinated with this, John. So Woolridge spins and is rejected, and he's also fouled by Charles Smith. Billy was one of the few who would listen to my broadcast back in the dorm. Very low power wattage campus station, and was very supportive. It was very nice of Billy. There he is, as you can see. Billy wearing the Yankee emblem and trying to get attention here. It's very sad, actually.
Got nice guy written all over. I personally would like to know a little more about Billy. We'll continue this a little later.
I've had enough myself. Billy, incidentally, will be on the play-by-play show, live from the play-by-play, following the Knicks and the 76ers, and perhaps we'll touch on such fascinating subjects. Anthony and Blackman now in the backcourt. Smith with Bonner and Williams up front. Smith on the recovery, and Charles Smith trying to bank it. Back comes Dawkins. Here's Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon up, beautiful tip. And the Knicks now lead by 9.
Somebody look for Weatherspoon, or else he'll turn out to be Kevin Willis tonight.
10 points. for Clarence Weatherspoon. Blackman wide open. Blackman this time passed up the shot. Fed Bonner, nice fake. Good recovery by Weatherspoon. And it will be 76er ball. Fifth meeting of the season between the Knicks and the Sixers. They split the previous 4, and Philadelphia has won a game here at the Garden back in January. At the time, Sean Bradley with the club. And then the Knicks lost to the Sixers 2 weeks ago at the Spectrum. Game that saw Patrick Ewing sit out, but a ball game that the Knicks felt they should have won.
It appears that Blackman is not anxious to shoot that ball. Charles Smith is, and he's on target. A good 20-foot shot.
So the Knicks now lead 36-25. Charles Smith figures to get the playing time tonight. For those who may have just tuned in, Anthony Mason suspended indefinitely. Orlando Woolridge. The suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. So Mason is sitting it out, and we do not know for how long.
The best we can ascertain also, it's not just one statement or action that Anthony Mason took that moved Pat Riley to this. It's an assortment of things.
Smith on the follow. Smith with the rebound and fouled by Woolridge. First called on Woolridge. Anthony Mason responding to Pat Riley saying, I can't believe he said that. Did he say that for real? If that's how he feels, I did what I've done as long as I've done it. I think I'm the best on the team. That responding to the statement made by Pat Riley saying that Charles Smith is the most effective from the 3 spot in terms of offense. And Anthony Mason said it's not only scoring when you're talking about all offense, the other aspects to it. But as you say, that is not the only reason, although Pat Riley gets upset when players do speak out in critical fashion. But you know, there are other incidents that led to it. I must say this, when Pat Riley has had a crisis over the years with the Knicks and has responded in this manner, as we saw with the benchings following his last season in LA, usually the end result has been favorable. Things have turned in favorable fashion for the Knicks. We'll have to see here. Meanwhile, Lechner just got clobbered. The foul committed by Smith.
The one thing the world knows about Pat Riley, Marv, and that is he is a control coach. You don't hear statements from Pat Riley about an outburst or a comment by one of his team members saying, oh, that's Anthony, he's like that. Paul Westphal will react that way to Charles Barkley's comments. He'll swing with it. Paul Westphal hasn't won 4 championships and doesn't have the aura that Pat Riley has around him, where he can control and create the environment he wants. And that's what Pat enjoys and what he brings to New York. And if you don't fall in line, this is what can happen.
Perry from deep, 3-point attempt. I wonder how Pat Riley would handle a situation with a guy like Charles Barkley, or how Barkley would handle the coaching philosophies of Riley. Offensive foul on Ewing, who is right in the face of Jack Madden.
You know what I think, Marv? I think that Pat Riley might not take that job.
I agree with you. I don't think he would want to deal with that. Charles is very playful. A lot of positives about him personally, but I don't think Pat would want to deal with that type of situation. And he was very upset. You recall the scenario in the game against the Clippers. Nice move by Weatherspoon. Hits the reverse and draws the foul. Beautiful move. But he was upset about the immaturity shown as Starks got involved, Anthony and Mason, with Mark Jackson. That was the water throwing incident. As a result, both were benched the next game, and those were 3 key players. And they handled it with great respect. Most coaches would not get that kind of reaction. 13 points for Weatherspoon. Riley reacting to Mason in the press release. The core objective of the Knicks, he said, has been, is, and always will be team first, team last. It's very simple. You're either in or you're out.
What's more important also is when is Anthony Mason coming back? He's important. And that we don't know.
Yeah, Pat Riley said that will be evaluated. Bonner with a nice spin. And the Knicks lead by 10. Anthony Mason so instrumental during the course of that 15-game win streak by the Knicks. Barrows for three. And Bonner rebounds.
Well, also against the better teams, when you see pressure like we just saw, Mason bringing that ball up the court is super valuable.
The basket counts and the foul. Yes, the Knicks are so vulnerable to pressure. We see Fred Carter turning it on and off, and I think that's a major concern come playoff time.
Well, the Knicks with those cross-court passes, making it easy for the defense to pick them off. And the Sixers now with another opportunity to get closer to the Knicks.
So Tim Perry to the line. Philadelphia 76ers have lost 3 straight, 4 out of 5. They had a stretch of winning 3 of 4, including that win over the Knicks 2 weeks back. 7-point lead for the Knicks with 7:20 to go in the first half. Ewing did not like the hand check from Lechner. Oakley. Ball knocked away. Oakley thought he was fouled. Knicks have 6 on the 24. Here's Oakley for 3. Rare 3-point shot attempted by Charles Oakley. That is only the 3rd 3-pointer attempted by Charles this season. Knicks shooting well in this first half. 49% from the field. Bad pass. Lechner had too much on it. Anthony rejected by Perry. Here's Graham on a 2-on-1, setting up Barrows. Flips it right back. Graham. Greg Graham getting the playing time in the absence of Jeff Malone. A little bit under the weather, we're told. Greg Graham out of Indiana. All Big Ten. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year in his rookie season in the NBA. We'll be right back.
It was the best first date I ever had. It was just crazy.
Some comments from the bench in Philadelphia. Our scouts tell us that Fred Carter was yelling something to the effect of, "Greg, you're not good enough." And Greg has disproven that of late, that's for sure.
Knicks lead by 5, 8-2 run by the 76ers. At one point, the Knicks had a 12-point lead. Lechner called for the foul, his second. 6:18 remaining in this first half. The Knicks with a backcourt now of Blackman and Hoffer. Ewing, Oakley, and Bonner up front.
Ewing wants that ball. He's got 6'8" Perry on him.
Ewing. Perry got a piece of it.
Well, you'd also like to see Ewing get a better shot against a man 6'8", that he can dominate physically.
Lechner. Shot clock at 7. Weatherspoon isolated against Oakley. Weatherspoon. He has had a terrific first half. 15 points for Clarence Weatherspoon. And the Knicks lead by 3. Here's Blackman. Rolando Blackman giving the Knicks a 42-37 advantage. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining, first half. Perry with the step. Tim Perry, very effective. Both ends of the court. He's 9 points and a couple of shot blocks.
Terrific move. He's had a tendency this year to go to the three-point shot too often.
Blackman again. That's a three-pointer for Rolando Blackman. The Knicks 45 and the 76ers 39. And a chant of defense from the crowd. Well, Barrows forced wide, lost the dribble. Isaac Austin checking back in, replacing Eric Lechner. For the Knicks, it is their final home game of the regular season. They have dropped 2 of the last 3 here at the Garden. Blackman on fire. He's hit his last 3. Knicks now lead 47-39.
Nice to see Rolando do it in the earlier part of the game. He's been doing that lately at the end of games.
Timeout called by the 76ers.
The Knicks are in Milwaukee to take on the Bucks Friday at 8:30 after game night here on MSG.
Hi, you'd like to buy your house?
Where are you gonna get the money, Sonny? Maybe a bank will loan it to us. Maybe not.
Hi, we'd like to.
If this was a surprise to him after his outcry and complaints the game before, and he said no, he wasn't surprised by the fact that he had been suspended. I asked him if he was going to be expected to play in the playoffs. He said he really wasn't sure. I asked him if he felt that this was a message that Riley was sending to him, and he said, I really didn't give much thought into it, and I'm just going to go about my business and see what comes up.
Did he seem upset? Did he seem bitter? What was his tone?
Actually, he seemed kind of laid back about the whole thing. He seemed kind of in a good mood, but I think he's a little bit upset. I know he's here tonight, so he really didn't stay too far away from the action.
So he knew he had to leave the building tonight and watch the game at home. Did he express to you if he was going to just watch the game or what?
Well, actually, he is here in the building. I saw him walk into the building. He's somewhere in the green seats. I don't think he thinks he's going to get noticed there.
Oh, so that's a breaking story, too. Mason is in the building somewhere. Eddie, thank you very much.
Okay, Bruce.
Marv?
Thank you, Bruce. Anthony is in the building.
He's no Elvis, Marv.
Yes. Bruce, I think you should scan the green seats and check them out.
Charles Oakley with a move that went nowhere and then coughed it up.
Knicks lead 47-39. Here's Barrows. John, I know you're actually disappointed because you would prefer having Anthony watching the telecast at home. Adding to the ratings. Ewing facing the double team. We come up on 3 minutes remaining first half. Ewing. Yes. Patrick Ewing has 12. And the Knicks now lead 49-41.
It doesn't get any easier for Patrick than that move. He caught the ball, just turned around and put it up almost as if no one was on him.
First, I guess you'll make your way in the second half to the green seat area. Not getting the proper response. You know, see, Al would have been up without any question.
Don't count Bruce out.
Here's Bonner. It counts. And the foul. Knicks by 10. And Bonner will go to line.
Well, Bonner, talk about a wide open lane. That's where the Sixers are vulnerable in the defensive end when you see a move like that.
Weatherspoon called for the foul. His first. Anthony Bonner with a quick start, 10 points. We're down to 2.5 remaining in this first half. Oakley off the rebound is blocked. Oakley again. Oakley again.
Charles padding those statistics, those rebounding statistics, following up his misses as he does so well.
One of the better second and third effort rebounders in the NBA. Charles Oakley giving the Knicks a 12-point lead. Weatherspoon. Austin missed the stop. And the ball will go to the Knicks at side court because on the rebound tip, it went over the backboard. Hopper and Blackman in the backcourt for the Knicks. Bonner, Ewing, and Oakley on the front line. Blackman again getting the room. Comes back to Blackman. Rolando with the hook. And the Knicks have their biggest lead of the game.
Interesting watching Rolando. He missed the first one, then he was cautious for a while. Now he's got the touch, and he's really in the groove.
8-0 run by the Knicks. Shot clock at 5. Isaac Austin with a nice move. Isaac Austin out of Arizona State was playing in the CBA at Oklahoma City, averaging 15 per game, and played very well against the Knicks 2 weeks back in Philly. Here's Blackman off balance, rebounded by Austin, knocked away, and a loose ball foul is called. It's called on Ewing. That is his 3rd foul.
Herb Williams pops up quickly on that 3rd foul call.
So Ewing sits down. 12 points, 9 rebounds for Patrick Ewing.
Big numbers for a half, and a little extra rest isn't going to hurt Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, who face a busy time of week once again tomorrow night in Milwaukee, and then a very big game Sunday at Chicago.
The Knicks 55 and the 76ers 44. Coming up on a minute remaining in the first half. Marv Albert, John Andres, Bruce Beck, and Walt Clyde Frazier from Madison Square Garden. Hopper. Good effort by Bonner, but he knocked it out of bounds. So it will be Sixer ball. Hubert Davis checking in. Charles Oakley will sit down. So Pat Riley now goes with 3 guards along with Bonner and Williams. And Barros picked up by Derek Hopper. Greg Graham guarded by Hubert Davis.
Woolridge now guarded by Blackman, goes right down low, wants that ball.
And Austin was fouled. Good reaction by the Sixers to the shorter lineup. Bonner called for the foul, his 3rd.
Woolridge gets that ball right away, and being taller than Blackman, he can just pass over Blackman to the cutting Austin. I think Austin has proven he can play in this league and has done some good things. He's active for a big guy, and he's pretty effective, as the Knicks have witnessed.
From the line this season, 13 of 21 now, including tonight, spending a lot of time at the free throw line. 6 of 9 at the line. End of 1 Rangers with a 2-0 lead at the Nassau Coliseum in front of the Islanders. Goals by Esa Tikkanen and Brian Leach. Rangers 2-0 over the Islanders, trying to make it 3 out of 3. Davis and Weatherspoon with the rebound. Sixers will hold for a final shot. 10 seconds remaining in the half. Knicks lead by 10. Well, Fred Carter will talk it over. 22nd timeout is called with 8 seconds remaining.
Well, Fred Carter using that 1 22nd a half each coach has. Fred also wants to demonstrate his coaching ability. He wants to be back here next year. This is his first full season in the job.
Well, tomorrow night the Knicks have the Bucks from the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Knicks game night at 8:30 tomorrow night. Knicks have won 3 of 3 against the Bucks but have not had an easy time in Milwaukee the past couple of years, despite the problems of the Milwaukee Bucks. Then Sunday afternoon, they finish up in Chicago. Regular season finale. Knicks have won 2 of 3 against the Bulls. However, they have lost 14 of the last 15 regular season games in the Windy City. Perry will throw it in. Down to 5 seconds. Here's Perry, short-armed it. And that's the end of the first half. And a good one for the Knicks. Halftime at the Garden, Knicks 55 and the Philadelphia 76ers 45. And we'll have our halftime in a moment.
There are a lot.
In the NBA.
Individual defense in that first half than they did on Tuesday.
Yeah, they showed some good tenacity, Bruce, on the defense, but they were still vulnerable to the transition game as well as the backdoor plays. So guys not helping out from the strong or the weak side.
So sometimes individual defense doesn't mean you're doing everything you want on the defensive end of the floor. Time for a look at the first half highlights, and the highlights are brought to you by Minolta, makers of the new Maxim 700 SI, only from the mind of Minolta. Patrick Ewing should have things his way without Sean Bradley, Clyde.
Yeah, the 7-foot Ewing has been omnipotent in the paint. This time the 6'10 Austin, no match for Ewing as he's overwhelmed underneath.
Roe Blackman hit a big 3 in the end of that ball game against Atlanta. Here he hits one in the first half.
Yeah, but watch the fluidity, something that's been lacking on the offense. Good passing and Roe swishing downtown.
Anthony Bonner surprisingly going to the offensive glass.
Well, you mentioned without Bradley, the Sixers without an intimidator. So the 6'8 Bonner able to create off the right side. A belated attempt by Spoon.
Maybe he heard that there's another guy who's a better player at the 3 spot, and he wants to prove Coach Riley wrong. Here's Clarence Weatherspoon. He had a great first half.
Precocious second-year man, leading them in scoring, 18 a game, as well as rebounding with 10. Nice shake and bake move this time on the Oak man.
Spoon with 15 points. He's been averaging 22 per ball game over the last 5 and having a fine sophomore season. So the Knicks have the lead at the half by 10. We'll be back at the Garden in a moment.
You wouldn't buy.
Going all the way. Knicks lead by 4. Open with the steal. Look out. Davis cuts ball, finger roll, and it falls.
Catch the Knicks versus the Bucks Friday at 8:30 after game night on MSG.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the Discover card. It pays to discover, the card that pays you back. By MetLife. Get Met, it pays. And by Coca-Cola Classic. Always jammin', always Coca-Cola.
Knicks lead by 10 at the half. Just moments ago, a presentation at the Garden with James McDermott, Vice President of MetLife.
On behalf of MetLife, I'm proud to announce that in honor of the first totally sold-out season in Knicks history, the fans of the New York Knickerbockers have been selected as the MetLife Knick of the Month for April. Our 2 previous monthly winners, co-captains Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, will accept the award. In addition, MetLife is proud to make a donation of $1,000 on behalf of the Knicks fans to the CJ Foundation for the Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. To the greatest fans in the NBA, the Knicks and MetLife, thank you. Thank you very much.
41 sellouts this year, 68 in a row overall for the Knicks. Here's a look at the past winners of the MetLife Knick of the Month award, and the fans get the honor for April. Right now, back to Marv Albert and one of Marv's biggest fans, John Andre.
Well captured, Bruce. Thank you. Knicks by 10 as we head to the third quarter. Sixers shooting 39% from the field, 17 of 44, and the Knicks at 47%. Knicks with the edge off the boards, 32-22. Ewing leading the way with 9 rebounds, and the Knicks also doing a good job in the assist column.
I would say, Marv, the half, when you look at the statistics, are about what they should be. Nothing to complain about, I'm sure, from Pat Riley's standpoint in a big way. However, he'd like to see less offensive rebounds by the Sixers. They had 10 in the first half. That's on the way to 20, which is a huge number.
Here's Graham. Knicks have led by as many as 14, and they have that 10-point bulge as this third quarter gets underway. Hopper and Davis at the guards. Ewing, Oakley, Bonner up front. Patrick Ewing. Rebound, Charles Oakley. An easy putback for Charles. 6 points for Oakley, along with 8 rebounds. The Knicks 57 and the 76ers 45. Lechner, Weatherspoon, and Perry on the front line with Barros and Graham in the backcourt. And a foul charge to Oakley. That is his third. 3 apiece on Oakley, Bonner, and Ewing.
Charles mystified by that call. Pursuing official Jack Madden now in a friendly manner.
Philadelphia 76ers have lost 3 straight, 4 out of 5. They did have a run of 3 straight wins, including the victory over the Knicks a couple of weeks back. While the Knicks in the midst of a slide, 6 losses in the last 9 games. Here's Barros for 3.
That's a bad shot. Bad guard dribbling away from the action and then turning and pumping up the long shot. That doesn't invite any kind of team play, that kind of shot.
Illegal defense against the 76ers, their first infraction, so the Knicks get a new 24. Hopper using the pick. Ewing, yes. And the Knicks match their biggest lead of the night.
Sure is nice when you go to shoot the ball and no one's bothering to put pressure on you. And Patrick Ewing's making the most of it.
Here's Graham.
Same thing for the Sixers. No pressure on Graham. Wide open shot.
Greg Graham in the starting lineup tonight with Jeff Malone under the weather. Jeff in uniform on the bench. The Knicks lead is 12. Oakley. Ewing keeping it alive and tips it home. Patrick Ewing giving the Knicks a 61-47 lead.
It always seems to happen when a team starts to extend a lead. That same team gets more intense on defense. And that's what the Knicks seem to be doing now. They're pulling themselves together to become even tougher than what they've presented to the Sixers.
Adam Graves adding a goal, and the Rangers now lead the Islanders 3-0 in the second period. The Rangers with 15 unanswered goals. 6-0 victories in game 1 and 2. They're up 3-0 in the second. Leach, Tikkanen, and Graves the goal scorers. Bonner will sit down. Charles Smith is back. Anthony Bonner with his 4th foul. Tim Perry only a 58% free throw shooter, misses on both. So the Knicks maintain the 14-point lead with 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Here's Ewing. It is now 63-47 Knicks.
Lechner doesn't have the mobility to go out and chase Patrick Ewing. And he's losing badly because of that.
Here comes Hopper. Now Ewing played by Perry on a switch. And the foul on Perry. That is his first.
See, that's Ewing using his strength, going toward the basket. Perry at 6'8". It's a mismatch. I mean, they have to make a change, and they do with Austin coming in now, a much bigger man. Ewing was just taking off on it against the Sixers now.
So Isaac Austin has checked in. Smith. Well, Charles Smith now 1 for 5 from the field. Barros able to dump it off to Weatherspoon. 17 for Weatherspoon.
No one in front of Weatherspoon. That's a breakdown by the Knicks. I hate to be picky, but you know, if the coaches look at that stuff in the next day as Ewing drives in for a shot, which he makes, if the coaches look at replays of games, they study these game tapes. And Fred Carter will be annoyed also when he sees Austin just allow Ewing to get that little step in, and Austin is very silent in response.
Foul on Austin, his second. And a solid game for Patrick Ewing. Knicks by 16. There's Graham stripped. Hubert Davis. Hubert went to the left hand. Perry tried to save it. And it will be Nick Ball. Fred Carter. Vandal took over for Doug Moe last March on an interim basis. Got the position full-time by season's end. Fred Carter had a standout 8-year NBA playing career. Patrick Ewing with 22 points. And Fred Carter calls for a timeout. The Knicks with their biggest lead of the game, a margin of 18.
You may have made
crowd reacting because he held Charles Smith, but he braced the fall, prevented the shot. Good play by Orlando Woolridge. You can see Charles Smith understood that.
Nice shovel pass also by Harper.
Now Smith Tuesday night only 2 of 6 from the free throw line. Tonight 2 for 2 from the line. The Knicks have outscored the Sixers 12-4 here in the third quarter, and Patrick Ewing had scored the Knicks last 10 points, 10 of the 12 in the third prior to that foul shot.
Mentioned Weatherspoon accumulating the points he has as a Sixer now. He's the best ever as far as first 2 years in the NBA. He's getting better and better.
Knicks now lead by 20. Oh! And Graham is fouled. John Oakley, that is his 4th. Talking about Clarence Weatherspoon as you see Johnny Dawkins check in. Weatherspoon says he wants to remain with the Sixers, but is not closing his eyes to anything. In fact, he says he's keeping a careful eye on a window of opportunity that runs from April 25th. That's the day after the regular season ends, until June 25th. Apparently Weatherspoon has 4 years remaining on a 6-year contract. He can become a restricted free agent during that time. Here's Davis. Hubert Davis from long range. And the Knicks now lead 71-51.
There will be a lot of question also about the leadership of this franchise in Philadelphia. Jim Lynam, the general manager, rumored to be heading back to coaching.
Well, the Speculation is with Wes Unseld perhaps headed to the front office in Washington. Jim Lynam could be brought in if he is interested in making a return to coaching.
Which, of course, is a reflection on the overall picture in Philadelphia. The owner, Harold Katz, certainly a highly visible man, very involved in the team, and a target, certainly, of critics in Philadelphia, the way he's run the franchise. And perhaps Jim Lynam would prefer to be coaching rather than having meetings, like a lot of people are. A lot of people would rather be more active and go to meetings.
Foul committed by Dawkins. Non-shooting foul. Fourth team foul committed by the 76ers. 6:20 remaining in the third. Hopper for three. Well, Derek Hopper hitting his second from downtown, and the Knicks with the comfortable 74-51 lead.
Derek Hopper has enjoyed just a sensational shooting percentage in three-point range over the last 18 games. 46%. Now that'll go up with tonight's shooting. That's amazing.
Davis, yes. Knicks running away from the 76ers. They're up 76-51. Meanwhile, it's Miami by 6 over Atlanta early third quarter. Graham. And Graham again. Graham tried to pick off that pass, knocked it out of bounds. Knicks have outscored Philadelphia 21-6 here in the third. Tim Perry checks back in. Davis for three. And the Knicks now lead 79-51.
Well, as Pat Riley said the other day in response to questions about Hubert Davis's shooting, he said, I believe in him. He's got the perfect stroke. Every time he shoots it, I think it's going in, and it's starting to happen again for Hubert Davis.
Austin tried to knock it away. Davis rejected. Ewing right there. And the Knicks now lead by 30 points. Fred Connor calls for time. 4:40 remaining in the third.
The Rangers battle the Islanders again in Game 5, Monday night on MSG2. Of all the
where
aisle after all.
Eastern Conference rundown. Atlanta game and a half in front of the Knicks, and Chicago a half game back. As I mentioned, Miami in front of Atlanta now by 6 early third quarter. Moses Malone has checked in for the first time. The seldom used Moses Malone these days. Foul on Hubert Davis. Moses in his 18th professional season, 39 years old. Hubert Davis 14 points in all. Ewing and Davis have combined for 19 of the 26 Knicks points in this third quarter. Knicks have run up a 30-point lead. 18-2 run by the Knicks. That's Malone with it. Kidd tried to go backdoor with Dawkins, but a bad pass. It is now Rangers 3 and the Islanders 1. So the Islanders finally scored a goal. Ferraro for the Islanders. And the Islanders go 155 minutes and 28 seconds shutout by the Rangers before the goal tonight. Davis for three.
I must say, Mark, Moses Malone's waist looks as small as I've ever seen it look. He's only played in 53 of their 79 games.
With the naked eye, looks good as Ewing is able to hit, but you don't know what kind of stamina he has, but he has kept the weight down.
What do he and Sean Bradley have in common? I'll give you the answer. You don't have to think too hard. Both don't play much, and both are losing weight.
I see.
You believe Sean Bradley, reportedly out now for quite a period of time, has actually lost weight. These guy's being paid a lot of money to eat and get stronger and heavier. He's lost weight since he's been sitting.
Orlando Blackman has 11, and a 20-second timeout has been called. We showed you the Eastern Conference standings a moment ago, and there are all kinds of possibilities should two teams finish. And Atlanta loses its final two, and Chicago loses its final two. The Knicks would then finish on top. It is not a favorable situation for the Knicks going in. Friday, the Bulls are home for Boston. Atlanta playing tonight at Miami, and they've been trailing most of the way. And then Saturday, Atlanta is home for Orlando. Johnny Dawkins on the line. Knicks now lead 85-54. See the other day, the 76ers hired 8-time Mr. Olympia Lee Haney, who will be working with Sean Bradley. Haney said that Bradley will be stronger by the time next season rolls around. Nice play by Davis. Blackman, though, rejected by Weatherspoon. Dawkins for Woolridge. 85-57 Knicks.
Marv, the hope is that Haney will be working with Bradley, because Bradley made an announcement himself saying he was going out to his home in Utah, where his family is. Hubert Davis with the touch. And he won't return till July, which doesn't make the Sixers happy. And he's saying, well, I hope Haney comes out. Johnny Dawkins on that pretty drive. And that's got to make people a little unhappy who have invested a ton of money, over $40 million in the future of Sean Bradley.
Wow, the Knicks shooting just sensational. 52% from the field. Derek Harper adds to that. He's 4 of 6, 10 points. And the Knicks in a blowout, 90-59. We will see extensive garbage time in the fourth quarter. Blackman returning to Harper, who gives it off to Davis. Smith for Harper. And the Knicks reset. Harper stepped on the line. It's a two-pointer. Knicks 93, 76ers 59.
Well, the cobwebs of recent memory are being wiped away slowly for the Knicks with this explosion here in the third quarter.
Davis. And Hubert Davis gives the Knicks a 94-61 lead. Apparently an incorrect score posted. Scorer thought the Harper shot was a three-pointer that was waved off. Substitutions: Herb Williams, Anthony Bonner, and Greg Anthony have come on. We're down to 57 seconds remaining in the third. And Orlando Woolridge will go to the line. Hubert Davis with 19 points in all.
Orlando has enjoyed some fine moments against the Knicks this season. He did in the game earlier in April in Philadelphia. And he hit what turned out to be the game winner in the other win by the Sixers against the Knicks here at the Garden earlier this season.
Knicks have hit 17 of 26 from the field here in the third quarter. Charles Smith. Well, here's it from the crowd off a power move. And the Knicks now lead 96 to 62. And Weatherspoon is fouled.
Now that's a power move. Goes by Charles Smith and runs into a bigger man, and Herb Williams still succeeds in drawing the foul. Charles Smith, though, at the other end a moment ago, working against Kidd, backs him down low and succeeds with that move, and the fans took notice in a very positive response.
Well, the Knicks now have 41 points this third quarter. That's the most they have scored in a quarter this season. Previous high was 39. Did it against Minnesota and Detroit. Half minute remaining in the third, and the Knicks lead 96-63. Williams, Kidd with the rebound. Final seconds of the third. Weatherspoon for three. After three, it's the Knicks 96 and the Sixers 63. 41-18 advantage for the Knicks here in the third.
Mr. Galley-Weekich.
You mean Dr. Galakowicz?
Yes, I am. This is so cool.
And by AT&T, the official telecommunications company of the New York Knicks and the NBA.
And now it's time for the MCS Cannon Great Teamwork Moment. Well, the Knicks have really loosened up. You watch Harper handle that ball. Sets up Hubert Davis. Doesn't go his way. Charles Smith with the rebound. Back to Harper. Hubert doesn't force it. Oh, Rolando doesn't force it. But all of a sudden, Harper's wide open and he comes through. Cannon Technology and MCS Service. One is a great reason to buy the other.
And this fourth quarter opens up with that three-point attempt by Rolando Blackman. Knicks 96 and the Sixers 63. Barros hits. The Knicks with a 41-18 edge in the third quarter to put it away. 64% shooting for the Knicks. 18 of 28 in the third. Last touch by Smith. Miami now leads by 13 over Atlanta in the third quarter. An important game for Miami in their battle for the final playoff spot against Charlotte. 13-point lead for the Heat. Bonner giving the Knicks a 98-66 lead. And at the Nassau Coliseum, after two complete, it's the Rangers 4 and the Islanders 1. Moses Malone. So the Knicks lead is now 98-68. Here is Smith. Charles Smith only 2 for 7. Dawkins with the step. Knicks lead 98-70.
Tricky move by Dawkins, who really is the only legitimate point guard on this Sixer team. Barris is 5'11", but he's essentially a shooting guard. That shot by Johnny Dawkins was nice in that it deceived the defense with the quick release.
The Knicks have called a 20-second timeout.
Greg Anthony handling that ball, rifles it into Bonner. Not a red shirt in sight. Another look at it now. Keep moving without the ball. Sometimes you get those nice passes. But some reflection on that Sixer porous defense, though.
Philadelphia 76ers, I'm sure, looking forward to wrap the season They'll do that tomorrow against the Pacers at Indiana, then Sunday the finale at home against Detroit. That would be a lovely way to spend the day, watching the Sixers and the Pistons. Final day of the season.
That was the Sixers' last win against Detroit a few games ago. Too bad about Isaiah Thomas apparently winding down his career with that Achilles tendon injury. And the most surprising departure by Isaiah as Herb Williams enjoys the crowd response after that fine move.
Yes, puts Isaiah out of action in terms of Dream Team 2 this summer in Toronto.
Kind of strange, though, that hadn't he gotten injured, still appeared that he might be leaving the game without much fanfare.
Dawkins got a piece of the glass. Bonner posting up and fouled by Kidd. Warren Kidd, who at the start of the season was in the starting lineup, a major surprise in the early going, led the nation in rebounding last season. Middle Tennessee State in his senior year averaged 15 rebounds per game. He's been coming off the bench for the most part. And Bonner to the line. Anthony is 2 of 3 from the line. This is a very fine night for Anthony Bonner at the foul line. 3 out of 4. Anthony struggles at the line. Wow. 4 for 5. He's had the touch. Shooting the ball well. 14 points in all. And the Knicks now lead 102-70.
Moses Malone operating out high. He's always said he'd like to finish his career as a forward in the NBA. Maybe that's why he got so thin. He also wants another year in the NBA, believe it or not. Despite the fact he hasn't played much, hasn't demonstrated value other than helping Sean Bradley in certain aspects of his learning process.
I would think he wants 2 or 3 more
at the price,
kind of salary. Right? Why not? Knicks 102 and the 76ers 70 with 8.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. Here's Bonner. Anthony Bonner with the flying stuff attempt. Barros for 3. He's been off.
This is a schoolyard offense now that the Sixers are giving the Knicks over half court. When you see a shot by Barros like that.
Smith feeding it down low, but Blackman gets it out. Anthony, 3-pointer for Greg Anthony. Anthony with 7 points, and the Knicks with a 105-70 lead.
Greg Anthony has now hit a 3 in 8 of his last 9 games.
Greg Anthony goes for the finger roll
with the right hand. Boy, is he loose and confident now with his shooting.
This has taken on the look of a scrimmage, and I would think soon we will see the likes of Eric Anderson and Corey Gaines. And if I can pick up the chant, John, I think they're calling for Eric Anderson.
The entire crowd, Marv, is reading your mind. Greg Anthony on that last move, little crossover dribble, right hand delivery, swish.
That last Knick foul called on Charles Smith. Moses Malone sitting down. Yes, the chant has begun for Eric Anderson, who's not played the last 9 games. Woolridge from deep. Orlando Woolridge with 12 points. Knicks breaking this game open in the 3rd quarter, outscoring the 76ers 41-18. They have had the big lead right throughout the second half. Shot clock at 4. Anthony for 3. And the rebound handled by Kidd. 6.5 remaining in the game. And Graham was fouled. He will go to the line, but first a timeout call. It's the Knicks 107, Philadelphia 72.
Now, a coast-to-coast savings event that only comes once.
So tickets are still available for other performances through April 30th. Please call 212-465-MSG1 or Ticketmaster for current show and ticket exchange or refund information.
Eric Anderson has checked in with 6:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. The crowd calling out for Eric. Not played the last 9 games. So this will provide some, I don't think Eric feels the same way, but it does provide entertainment value for the crowd as Charles Smith is fouled. Hit by Orlando Woolridge.
Might remember Eric's last appearance, and the fans here, I'm sure, do, Marv, when he finished the game with a 3-point shot that went splashing through the nets. His one and only 3 attempt of the year, and he made it. I talked to him in the locker room afterwards, asked him if he was going to demand more playing time after that finish, and he was thinking about it. But so far so good. He conducted himself well, and here he is back in action.
The Knicks lead 109-73.
He's got a very good sense of humor.
Anderson guarding Kidd. Rebounded by Austin. Lost it. Smith comes up with it. Anthony from Smith. Knicks lead 111-73 as we have hit extensive garbage time here at Madison Square Garden. 5.5 remaining in the game. Barros. Dana Barros. 111-75 the score. Crowd would like to see Anderson get the ball. And he does. Blackman shoots. And the Knicks lead 113-75. Rolando with 13 points. The high man for the Knicks, Patrick Ewing, with 26 along with 15 rebounds. Here's Graham.
Marv, I just want to point out something. With the focus on Anderson to shoot, which everybody feels, just made a nice pass for his first assist of the year.
And now Corey Gaines checks in, replacing Greg Anthony. Greg Anthony leads with 11 points. There's Austin, rejected by Williams. Gaines blocked. Good play by Barros. Graham lost it off his foot. And we are now down to basic schoolyard style. A lot of one-on-one.
Are you saying this is garbage basketball?
That point was mentioned, yes. Well, I mean it affectionately. You know that.
Just twisting the words,
yes.
Marv. Playing with your head a little.
Yes.
Bouncing it around.
Players refer to this as garbage time, but one of those things with the game completely out of whack. 113-75 lead. Here's Anderson. Rebound Smith, and he's blocked by Austin. Isaac Austin, who has hit a career high with 10 points. Woolridge goes behind the back to set up Kidd. Anderson with the rebound. Just under 4 minutes remaining. Anderson on the drive. Fouled by Kidd. So Anderson will go to the foul line. Well, the Knicks bench enjoying it.
Well, Anderson enjoyed this pass, too, a moment ago to Rolando Blackman for his first assist of the year.
Anderson hitting on his first, so he is now 5 of 13 from the line. Knicks won 14 of the 76ers 75.
Barros is going to take him out far and then go around him.
Yes, Barros with a nice move. One-on-one move by Dana Barros.
I hate those little guys. 5'11" Barros cruelly treating Anderson.
Off the double team. Ball knocked out of bounds by Barros. Down to 3:27 remaining in the fourth quarter. 7 Knicks in double figures. The Knicks putting it away in the third quarter. Here's Smith. 12 points for Charles Smith. Although Charles only 3 of 10 from the field. Here's Perry. I'm not sure what he had in mind there. Well, ball was deflected. Or let's see. Yes, it was deflected and carried out of bounds. Last touch by the Sixers. Perry out of bounds.
Has had a penchant for taking 3-point shots. He's made a lot of them this year, but he gets criticized because he takes too many of them in the eyes of many Sixer experts.
And Smith fouled by Kidd. Sixers take a timeout with 2:48 remaining.
The Knicks are in Milwaukee to take on the Bucks Friday at 8:30 after game night here on MSG.
If you're shopping around for a new car, it makes perfect sense.
Charles Oakley was asked about that earlier today.
Yeah, I'm cutting it off Sunday. Maybe before the Chicago game, or either night when we get back from the trip in New York.
Charles's statement of toughness. The Knicks also appear to be ready to don the black sneakers for the playoffs, something they've done in the past. But Charles did not get any takers apparently from his teammates. They kind of blew him off in a nice way, and not much interest in going bald from the rest of the Knicks, except maybe Greg Anthony.
Charles just trying to look for ways to demonstrate unity, therefore the black sneakers and the shaving of the heads. All right, Corey Gaines with the bucket. He'll go to the line. Foul committed by Austin. Down to 2:44 remaining in this fourth quarter, and the Knicks with a 118-77 lead. Corey Gaines throwing a brick at the line. John, in the big picture, with the Knicks coming in losers of 6 of 9, and in light of the Anthony Mason suspension, foul called on Herb Williams, and that will put Warren Kidd on the line. Of course, the Knicks have to be delighted with coming up with the big win in terms of, I say big in terms of the margin of victory, but against a bad 76er team, a Sixer team that has given the Knicks problems. But the Knicks still have to show that they can beat the quality teams, and the only time they're going to be able to show that will be Sunday in Chicago before the playoffs get underway.
And you'll be there.
Yes, I will.
No question about it, Mark. Tomorrow night's another exercise for the Knicks in Milwaukee, who just ended a 9-game losing streak last evening to Detroit. But that is the test. And I think if they can get by Chicago, the Atlanta game will not be as tough a memory for Knicks fans, although it might have an ultimate effect, certainly in the conference standings and who they match up with, that's for sure.
Rolando Blackman has 15 points. Meanwhile, Atlanta putting a move on Miami, now down by only 3 in the fourth quarter. The magic number for Miami to clinch a playoff spot is only 1. As they look to keep Charlotte away. Charlotte has come on strong recently. Here's Smith. And the Knicks lead 122-77. So that game of great importance to the Miami Heat. That's what the Knicks and the Bulls have to be banking on. And then Atlanta with a game against Orlando at home at the Omni on Saturday.
No question, a lot of teams will breathe deeply if Charlotte goes away and doesn't make the playoffs. They've proven with the return of Mourning and Larry Johnson how tough they are.
Barros for three. The Knicks with 122 points. Most points in a game this season by the Knicks, 123. So looking to come up with their season high. Well, we mentioned earlier that Anthony Mason was seen in the green seats here at the Garden. And John, I'm told that's Anthony upstairs just before he departed just moments ago. MSG Network cameras on the scene. Herb Williams giving the Knicks a 124-77 lead. So the Knicks with a season high.
Well, you wonder how long Pat Riley will enforce his suspension of Anthony Mason, which was announced just before the game.
Tim Perry hitting the three. Also, the Knicks with 69 points in the second half, and that is a high for the season for the Knicks. It has been a rout, 124-80. Well, Charles Smith adds to it. For Charles Smith, a three-pointer. He has 17. 127-80 the score. Here's Kidd. 15 seconds remaining in the game. Anderson looking for the three and takes it. Yes! Eric Anderson with his second three-pointer of the season. That won't count. That would have been after the buzzer. So the New York Knicks have blown out the Philadelphia 76ers 130-82. Festive atmosphere at the end as Eric Anderson had the crowd going. He backed to three-point territory and was able to convert. Eric Anderson perfect from downtown. He's now 2 for 2 for the season. So the Knicks go to 55-25, and for the moment they are a game behind Atlanta. We'll be right back.
Let's talk smart. Let's talk Eagle Vision. V6 power windows and locks, air conditioning, and automatic transmission. Let's talk safety. Let's talk lease. We're talking $229 a month. Hey, stop talking and go test drive a new Vision ESI. It's the least we can do for you.
Blew out the 76ers, and the fans and certainly the Knicks on the bench went nuts when Eric unloaded from downtown. And joining us right now, Charles Smith. And Charles, a blowout. I kind of get the feeling the Knicks needed this one.
Yeah, we definitely needed this one. I think, first of all, we played great aggressive defense tonight, and that was the key to this game.
The team had really been struggling lately. You've got a couple of games left, and then the playoffs. Is this team poised to go into the playoffs and forget about the last 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, I definitely feel we're poised enough. I mean, you know, all we have to do offensively is just work the ball around and play together like we did tonight. If we can do that offensively and just hit the open man, and then on defense, just play hard, aggressive defense, we'll be fine.
Your thoughts on the suspension of Anthony Mason?
Well, you know, Anthony is a great player, and we all definitely know that we need him. I need him because he's a supporter of me, and I'm a supporter of him. But it's a situation that he and coach have to resolve. But in his absence, we'll hang on and we'll compete until he gets back.
Does it bother you that one of the things that bothered him was the reaction to Pat Riley's quote saying that you're the best three-man offensive player on this team?
Well, you know, I don't really know. I didn't know what Mace had said, but you know, that's, like I said, that's something for him and coach to work out. Whether he's better than me or not, that's not an issue. We're teammates. We need to play together, and I'm sure he realizes that. And I don't feel that, you know, whatever Mace said in context to me, he really meant in that manner. I think it's just something that maybe he was frustrated about hearing.
How are you personally dealing with the difficult fan support here at home?
Oh, I have no problem dealing with that. You know, I'm strong mentally, and I believe in God, and, you know, whatever happens to me down the stretch, I know it's going to be very good. So I'm very persistent in the fact that my offense is coming. I'm definitely going to play defense all the time, but my touch is coming back, and I feel real good about it, and I'll be just fine.
Pat Riley has said that you're going to see a lot of minutes here because he needs your offense if the team is going to make a run in the playoffs. Your reaction to the coach's confidence in you?
Well, I'm glad that coach has a lot of confidence in me. I have a lot of confidence in myself. You know, I have a lot of offensive ability. I haven't been able to utilize it lately because of my injuries, and, you know, my touch has been off. I have to really jump vertically in the post. I have to jump harder. There were times when I had dunks in the post and I didn't take them. I laid it up. And those are things that are going to come. I mean, all that's going to come. And like I said, I'm glad that coach has a lot of confidence in me. I have a lot of confidence in myself.
Charles, you had a heck of a stretch earlier in the year, a 15 or 20 game stretch where you were really feeling it and you were fluid on both ends of the floor. Can you get to that level again in the playoffs?
Yeah, with God, I'm going to get anywhere I want to go. I have no problem with that. You know, offensively, as a scorer, you have to get shots. You have to get in a certain flow. You got to get out there and do things at game speed. And I haven't been able to do that lately. And, you know, like I said, I have a lot of ability, and I'm just ready to use it, and it'll come out.
All right, Charles, congratulations on the effort tonight. We wish you the best.
All right, thank you.
Right now, Pat Riley addressing the press.
You know, it's sort of, it comes in, it seems though, as tonight, at least, you know, it comes in thunderstorms. You know, either they miss or they go in. And, you know, we just shot the ball extremely well in the second half to open up a huge lead. And sometimes you wonder if you could save some of those jumpers for another game. But for the most part, we just, you know, we bounced back, I think, pretty strong and won the game. And we go on to Milwaukee and hope we can get some help somewhere else.
You have a recent Atlanta score?
No, I just saw what I saw up on the board, you know, so it was 3 at one time. So anything I think that can encourage us from that standpoint will definitely motivate us, too.
You know, this is a weak Philadelphia team. Is this a big get on the right track kind of game? Going into the playoffs?
You know, we've established, or we tried to establish when we came here, you know, regardless of who the opponent was or what the situation is, and we have to sort of build back to that fact that, you know, at the Garden and on our home floor, that we're going to win in spite of any situation, any conditions. And, you know, the first year we won 30 games. I think last year we won 37. This year we won 32 games. And, you know, there have been times when teams have come in here, you know, be it, you know, plus 500 teams or whatever, or sub 500 teams, and, you know, they caught us and got us. And until we can really get back to that, you know, establishing a real true home court where we take pride in winning games here under any and all conditions, whether it's Philly, you know, who's playing out the season, or it's Atlanta, we really have to establish that again. And I think we lost track of that, lost track of exactly what we were when we took that attitude out on the floor. And I hope that maybe tonight we can bounce back and recreate that again.
What happened today? You think it had any effect on tonight?
I don't know if it did or not. You know, I think the loss in itself the other night probably had more of an impact on what happened tonight. You know, guys were very frustrated by it, and, you know, it was probably as a big a loss as we've ever had, you know, with, you know, what was at stake. And, you know, so we felt we lost a great opportunity there. And, but we have to deal with it. It doesn't make any difference what happens. It's how we deal with it. And I thought we dealt with that aspect of it very well by winning, you know, playing well.
Is Mason traveling to Milwaukee?
No.
Might he meet the team in Chicago?
No.
So we can assume that the suspension is at least for the rest
It's
of the
indefinite. Yeah. Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about Smith. You got, any comments and thoughts about Charles looking ahead to the playoffs? What kind of role he'll hopefully play for you?
Well, I think tonight, for some portion of the game, once he got into the rhythm, and the game was far and away over with, but he has the ability, and I think we all know this based on his record and what he's done in the past. And we brought him here as a scorer. He's always been a great scorer, guy that can get to the free throw line and shoot the basketball. And we haven't had an opportunity to really see that on a consistent basis, but I think he showed tonight that he can stretch the defense. He can hit the open shot, and it gives us another shooter out there, which is what we need at times desperately. So, I just hope he keeps building on his practices and keeps building on these games, and he gets more and more comfortable, and he can help us play, help us win.
Regardless of whether you can move up or down or get help or not, how important is it to finish strong the next 2 games?
Well, it's important to finish strong. I mean, we still have to. We have something to play for, and that is to try to secure as much as we can, at least the home court in the second round. And that could slip away from us if we don't keep our eye on that ball. So there's still a lot to play for, from that standpoint. Besides just playing well, developing confidence.
That's something that guys can tangibly feel, I mean?
Well, if they could really feel it, maybe they felt it too much the other night. That created a little more pressure than we probably needed. But, I mean, you play the regular season out for all the position you can get, and then you get on with, what this whole profession is about, the playoffs, and then you go from there. So, where it ends on Sunday, then we'll just have to go from that standpoint.
And how does it stack up in all the you talked about the real season begins. Where does this stack up in all the postseasons that you've been in? Is this the most unsure?
No, I don't think so. I was with an organization for 20 years that was always, at least the last 12 years that I was there, always playing for it. And, even with a great team, there were years that you were not sure, And, there were years that a championship team got beat in the first round, a great team. So you can't really say, but there has been a lot of inconsistency this year. And there's been a lot of, real disruptions that I think has affected the continuity of the team, which is what I've talked about. But, it's a whole new season. And then you got a chance to do something really good. And we hope that we can play for another 2 months. I mean, this season, I mean, this league, and this game, and I think all of you will agree, is just getting too long and too arduous for everybody, for every team in the league. There's not a team right now in the league, that is not wishing that it was over with a month ago to get on with what's important. But thank God somebody created the home court advantage, because that's the only thing that you write about and can talk about going down the stretch. There's no other incentive at all. It's all about position. So that creates a final push on the part of a lot of teams, either making the playoffs or getting a good spot and then getting on with the real part of the year.
Is that more so this year because it's such a disruption?
It's every year.
The press conference is brought to you by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. Lots still to come on our post-game show, so stay with us.
Hi. Is this space taken?
No.
Then I'll sit down.
You want a Bud Light?
Not yet.
Hey, wait a minute. That's my Bud Light.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
How about a little help here?
You'd be so not.
Touch and the shooting of Patrick Ewing, with their offense being somewhat limited, with John Stark still remaining on the sidelines with an injury. Well, the big story earlier tonight was Anthony Mason, who was suspended from the team because of conduct detrimental to the team. We just heard Pat Riley in his post-game comments not mentioning anything about Anthony Mason. However, earlier tonight in a press conference here at the Garden, Pat Riley did discuss the Anthony Mason situation thoroughly. Let's go back to some of Pat's words.
The press release speaks for itself. I don't think it has to be broken down into specifics, and I'm not going to get into specifics about it. But I just will open it up to a few questions and then get on with the evening.
Did you, Pat, meet with Mason? What was his reaction when you told him?
I did not meet personally with him. I talked to him after I made the decision, but it was done in the presence of the team.
That was today?
Yeah.
Can you give a hint as to when he might be reinstated and what has to happen before that happens?
It's, you know, it's indefinite, and it will be evaluated, you know, in the next couple of days.
Was the things that led to this, did they happen before his comments yesterday? They were a few days ago?
There wasn't any one specific thing, any one specific comment, any one specific, really anything. And I just think when it comes to these kinds of things, it's usually cumulative. And I think enough is said with that.
Was the timing of the fact, or the fact that the playoffs are, you know...
What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the team ready in every way, shape, or form for the playoffs. And you simply, in these situations, not just Anthony Mason, but everybody has to declare you're either in or out. You know, and you know, when you get to this time of the year, there can't be anything else other than, you know, complete support for each other and support for the team and what you're trying to accomplish.
Pat, how can he show you that he's back in?
It's not about that. It's just about, it's all about just an attitude. You know, the attitude that one takes to every aspect of the game. And, you know, over the course of the years I've been here, we've always had problems with a number of players when it comes to that. But at this time of the year, we don't need any kind of problems like that.
Pat Riley talking about Anthony Mason before tonight's ball game. Mason, of course, suspended, and Michael Kay has just come back from talking with Anthony Mason after chasing him down 31st Street. First of all, what was Mason wearing? Because I was looking for him throughout the evening. Was he in disguise?
Mason had on a handsome white jumpsuit with a black T-shirt underneath, and he was wearing a big grin as he was walking out of the Garden. But one thing, Bruce, that was amazing to me, the fans were all over him. Anthony, we love you, we need you. They're high-fiving him, screaming for his autograph. He wouldn't give any autographs. He said, next time, next time. But he ran out gate 62 over here, then to 31st Street, picked up his car in the parking lot right across the street from 31st, and that's the last I saw of him.
What was the overall tone of Mason? Was he hurt that he couldn't play? Was he disappointed?
Well, I asked him why he was at the game in the first place, because I thought that was pretty gutty. A guy was suspended from the team showing up. He said, I'm still part of this team. I wanted to make sure that they were going to win. Then I asked him if he thought that he was going to play in the playoffs. He said, that's up to the man. He said, you guys talk to him. He says, I don't know. And I asked him when he was told. He said he was told by Riley, and then he was starting to get into it. Then he stopped himself. He said, listen, he said, Pat Riley's going to tell you what he wants to tell you, and I'm not going to say any more. And every 5 questions he wouldn't answer, then he would finally answer one. But he did seem like he was in a fairly decent mood, considering everything that's happened today.
He always handles himself gracefully throughout the season. And Mike, the other thought is, do you think Mason, if he had it to do all over again, would not have said something? Because throughout the years, he has always spoken his mind, even if it gets him in trouble.
I think that's the type of guy Anthony Mason is, and he really doesn't fit into that Pat Riley mode of a guy that he can control verbally. He wants everybody on the same page, and Anthony Mason sometimes turns the page. I think if he knew he was going to be suspended, maybe he would tone down his comments, but a guy like Anthony Mason is always going to say what he wants to say. And you know, I really, again, as I said at the beginning of the game, I don't know the crime, because all he did was speak his mind.
Thank you for the hustle, Mike.
All right, thanks a lot. It was fun.
So Anthony Mason was in the building despite the fact he was suspended from the ball club. Here's the Knicks scoring in the game. Leading scorer summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Patrick Ewing on top, as we mentioned, with 26. Hubert Davis, who shot poorly the other night, was 8 for 14 this evening for 19. And Charles Smith played extremely well. He had 17 points in the ball game. Meanwhile, on the Sixers side of the ledger, not much happening. Weatherspoon had 15 at the half, finished with 18 points. And as you can see, Perry, Woolridge, Barros, and Austin all in double figures. The Knicks with their largest margin of victory of the year and tying an all-time franchise record, winning by 48 over the Sixers.
I ran into David Perry over the weekend. He sure ain't living like he used to. Something we have to look forward to.
Actually, when I started with the company, I talked to my broker at Payne Weber. He felt that our retirement plan wouldn't be enough, so we decided I should be putting some money aside.
How do you even know about our plan?
He asked.
Who played the national anthem before the first game ever at Yankee Stadium?
John Philip Sousa's band.
Give the kid a break. What's Weed Eubank's real first name? Wilbur.
Give the kid a break.
Who was the Knicks ball boy in 1959?
Marv Albert.
Why don't you give the kid a break?
Give the kid a break! Give the kid a break!
Nobody knows sports like the Times.
Was 75 points in the second half, 130 for the game. Those are both season records. They had 41 in the third, and the final is a blowout. Here's the Delta upcoming schedule. Folks, not many games left in the regular season, and both are on the road. Friday at Milwaukee, Sunday at Chicago, and that game could be very, very big for home court advantage in the Eastern Conference. Curtis Bunn joins us now, emerging from the Knicks locker room. And you said you spoke to Charles Smith after we did, and you've got some fresh stuff on Smith and Mason.
Apparently he left here and he went to the locker room and he spoke to Smith. Smith spoke to Mason on the cellular phone, and he said they basically just cleared the air, wanted to make sure that each guy supported the other, that their relationship did not worsen because of what happened.
What about the rest of the ball players? Did they give you any feel about the whole Mason situation?
Those guys really wanted to ignore it. Almost all of them said, I'll talk about the game, but that's business between Mason and Pat Riley, and they wanted to leave it at that.
Hey, Curtis, there haven't been many victories recently, so was there a different tone about the ball game in that respect?
Oh, well, first of all, when the Knicks lose a game in that locker room, there's a scarcity of players. There were a lot of guys there, and everybody was willing to talk. Dirk Harper said it had seemed like a long time since they won, considering that they played badly lately and the Mason stuff today.
The Mason thing, you think will blow over quickly, or do you think this is something that could linger?
Well, he's not going to play the rest of the regular season, so it won't.
He's not.
No, he's not traveling to Milwaukee, and he's not going to Chicago, Pat Riley says. So I think we're looking at a guy who may be back in the playoffs. Riley said it again, it's indefinite.
So Mason is suspended for the rest of the regular season, which are the two ball games upcoming, and then we would expect him to be back in the playoffs, but nothing confirmed. Is that correct?
Exactly. He may travel to Charleston with the team on Monday. They practice here first and then go to Charleston. He may go there. If he goes there, I would assume that he'll be back soon.
What would be your take, though? You think he'll be back for the playoffs?
Absolutely. I think you can't go into a war without all your weapons, and Mason is certainly a weapon. Pat Riley realizes that. I just think he reached a breaking point with Mason. Those two guys have had their run-ins during the course of the season, and at this juncture, Riley said I had to put my foot down in some respect.
Well, Curtis, it was a big ball game tonight in Miami, and the Heat won 94-89 over Atlanta, which means this race for the first spot in the Eastern Conference, hey, it's wide open once again. Atlanta leading New York and Chicago by 1/2 game. Atlanta hosts Orlando on Saturday. Chicago has Boston on Friday and the Knicks on Sunday. And as we mentioned earlier, the Knicks are at Milwaukee and at Chicago. So this race is once again alive after the Knicks' victory tonight and the loss by Atlanta. Guests receive the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy anything just about anywhere. Gift checks are available where American Express travelers checks are sold. Some of our guests receive a watch from Fendi. The 900 series, registered Italian design, finally crafted in Switzerland with an ETA quartz movement for precision timekeeping. Water resistant to 165 feet. The Knicks in a blowout at the Garden. We'll be back.
They know it's not really home. New York is home. If this were really home, you should be the New Jersey Giants.
You'll love the Anderson Frenchwood patio door for the beauty it brings to a room and for what it doesn't bring.
Play-by-play, Buck Showalter, Angela Bassett, a star-studded group will join Mike Francesa and Jennifer Smith. You won't want to miss it. So the Knicks with a big win to close out the regular season at home. I'm Bruce Beck. Thanks for joining us, and good night from the Garden.